Bacon in the air fryer? Okay, I learn something new every single day. I'm going to have to do that, you guys. Dinner's ready. Hey, everybody. Oh, my goodness. It took me a few minutes to get in here because I had to deal with everybody's favorite troll for a few minutes. And the troll, hey, was upset because I shared a piece of rumor about Lori Alexander that came straight from one of Lori's neighbors, which is that Lori is not allowed to be alone with her grandkids. I don't know how true that is. I've stated numerous times that is a rumor only, that I don't know that it's true, but this is what the neighbor says. And I don't know if she lives next door to Gladys Kravitz or what. Uh-oh, yeah. So, uh-oh, Christoph Van. Is there such a thing as overboard with bacon? No, 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 no. I love my bacon. You know, that's one of the things that I was worried about when I got to Costa Rica. Uh, they have bacon, but it's bacon. It's not really bacon. It's some kind of greasy pork product that they try to claim as bacon that seems more like a cross between um, Italian bacon and just some kind of dried pork product. It's gross. But there's good news. There are places here that sell real bacon, and I buy it. I like the Gwaltney bacon from Virginia. When I see that, I buy it. And as you can see, I'm not skinny, so I'm obviously eating bacon and donuts and everything else that other people apparently don't eat. Well, except the donuts. I don't eat donuts because they aren't here. What they have here is gross. Hey, so is everybody as puzzled as I am by what's going on in the creator world? What do I mean? This has been a crazy week, and not just because I had everybody and their brother show up wanting to fight about the trial of the century, some of them are calling it. No, it's more a combination of just all kinds of things this week, all kinds of just silly things. And then you have creators in the community going after each other. Now, I'm just going to baldly throw this out here. There are creators we all like and dislike. It just happens. And then there's creator misunderstandings, one of which I'm going to deal with at the end of this. Others claim they don't fight and they do a confusing mess. Christoph, and you're exactly right. And I'm confused by all the battles myself. And I try to stay out of the battles mostly. But I can say honestly, I'm looking because there's some weird, strange cat walking through my yard. I can honestly say with the creator battles, there are a couple people that I've identified as ground zero of the problems going on, and I'm going to continue to avoid. Most disagreements are usually either lack of communication or miscommunication. Will, you are just, you're no kidding, exactly. And I myself, um, Cheryl, I wonder where you've been. I hope you feel better. We're dragging this house. Both of us have fevers and various other sundry things. And since my husband was exposed to COVID last week, we're kind of waiting to see if that's what this is, if we both have COVID or not. I hope not. Anyway, so it's exploding crapola. And I got to come up with a name for all of this. I don't know if Saturn is not in alignment, or maybe there's some kind of solar flare causing everybody to fight. 4 years working in a upholstery shop with an uncle-in-law taught me that. Oh, yep, that's exactly right. And some people misunderstand what you say. It sucks because the creators I do like are fighting with each other, and I don't want to pick sides. Well, that's the thing. You don't have to pick sides. You don't have to pick sides in any of these battles, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, because concerned. I suspect creators have discovered what politicians have long known and are exploiting, that anger is a motivating emotion that can increase financial support and more. Annie, I think that might be part of it, especially for certain creators. Um, I'm just going to throw this out here. One of the people fighting with everybody is Roadhog. Now, Roadhog is not one of my favorite creators. I don't watch him because of the cursing, and that's his thing. If he wants to do it, more power to him. But I am not going to watch him as a result. Anybody that calls females the see you next Tuesday goes on my naughty list. I just don't watch. He's probably a pretty fine person. I have talked back and forth on Twitter a little bit, but I'm not watching his streams. So I'm not real surprised to see that he seems to be ground zero in some of these things. I used to defend him, but can no longer. I finally see he's a bully, and it's not because of his language. Yeah, Villanova, I see that too. I try not to pick sides either, Cheryl. I mean, everybody and their brother was angry at Real, and I still kind of liked the guy. I feel bad for him right now because he's one of the people that Roadhog is going for hard right now as Real Entertainment News. And Real is one of those people I think that maybe stirs drama to bring eyeballs to his page. And I can't 100% blame him. So now Roadhog is saying all this stuff about Kareem and saying, always being kicked out of his apartment. It's just terrible, terrible stuff. My heart is broken for Real because Real has done what I tend to do here, which is care for strays. There are so many stray cats in Costa Rica that my husband can tell you we have a budget on how much cat food we buy, how many bags of it when we go to Costco, because we're feeding the local strays and trying to tame some of them, do different things. In one fell swoop, he threw single mothers, recovering addicts, and those suffering from suicide ideation on the bus. Angel, I saw that, and I was like, yeah, Lisa, I am too. There's some creators I've gone and watched their streams. I won't say anything in their comments because I know that there are those that will pick through those and will throw you under the bus and say this and that and the other thing about you. And you're just like, Christoph, and you're exactly right. A home is never guaranteed in life anymore. When you attack somebody over something like that, karma sucks. And that's the other thing I was going to say. You don't really have to take sides, but you can just quietly back up like I did when I realized that Roadhog was more messy and obscene than I wanted to deal with. They say you have a voice, but then you comment and they block. You're right, Dinner's Ready. There's some, like I said, there's some creators I will not speak in their streams. And there's some creators that you like, but you have to back off because you realize they're kind of messy too. So there's that. But him fighting with Real right now is really freaking me out because Real is experiencing one of those very unpleasant life circumstances where you try to help out stray cats and you end up homeless as a result. And I feel bad for him over that. Now, he's said and done some not so nice things either, including supporting Jodi Arias. I don't get that, but that's him. Everybody gets their own little weird quirks. Don't shame anyone for addiction. Exactly. Princess, exactly. You don't. I've seen that happen time and time again. It's all too easy to fall into addiction. Roadhog has talked about his booger sugar a couple times. I'm not going to tell anybody about my booger sugar because I have definitely tried it, but I'm not addicted to medication. I never have been. The only time I can say I was ever addicted to something was when I was on OxyContin for like 9 months before I had carpal tunnel surgery and a bunch of places and had to take those stupid pills for like forever. But I decided I did not like OxyContin. And I think at some point, medical research is going to show that people that get addicted to things like that, there's something going on in here. I don't mean psychologically. I mean chemically. There's some people that I think they become addicted to these things because there's something about the chemistry of their brain that they start taking this stuff and boom, they're addicted because of the chemistry in their own brain. I believe that's true because I was talking to a girlfriend of mine recently about the issues of addiction, especially with OxyContin, because it made it hard for any of us that are having pain issues to get effective pain relief now. And I certainly have chronic pain issues with feeling all the time on my left side like I'm being electric shocked every minute, every minute, every minute. So, yeah, too many tantrums. You're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah, Lisa, same here. So what was I going to say? I was talking about addictions. We were talking about that, my girlfriend and I. And I said, I don't get wanting to take OxyContin or Vicodin or anything in that class for amusement's sake, or because it makes you feel a certain way. It only makes me feel like a bumper stunned turnip sitting by the side of the road that fell off the vegetable cart when I take it. It deals with the pain, but it turns off your emotions and everything else. And so for me, it's something that I don't like doing. It just doesn't do it for me. Um, so I can't understand wanting to feel that way. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I was on it. I got physically addicted. I turned around and got off it when I had the surgery and got past all that by cutting the dose in half and half and half and half over the course of like 2 or 3 weeks. So I don't struggle with that, but I have certainly been around people in my entire life who struggle with alcohol, who struggle with different types of drugs, who struggle with all kinds of things. Hell, I struggle with food. Everybody struggles with something. So I don't think it's in anybody's best interest to addiction shame, fat shame, anything like that. Nobody really knows for sure what you're going through if you don't share it with them. And I think we're all just kind of struggling along in our own ways, trying to make life the way it is that works best for us. The worst thing I put in my body is gin. Stuff just vile and even worse when it comes back up, John. I can understand that. Unfortunately, I could see myself becoming an alcoholic on tequila if I wanted to, because I like my tequila shots. Fortunately, I'm on a high blood pressure med that makes it problematic for me to drink tequila shots more than just one. So I don't do it. Oh, Cheryl, I hated it too when I've been on it for things like that. Block serotonin, oxytocin makes you a zombie. Lisa, that's my experience, but there are others that seem to love that. The years that I worked at a clinic with a bunch of doctors, one of the biggest things that I had to deal with was the OxyContin addicted people coming. Apparently, one of the doctors in the practice had a reputation for freely writing this crap. And one of my jobs was to go through to interview potential new patients for this particular doctor, get their medical records, their complete medical records, go through them and earmark anything that looked problematic for the other doctors to look at to decide whether we took this person in the practice or not. Because at that point, OxyContin abuse was becoming very much a problem in the U.S. So if you've not watched John Oliver's excellent series on the marketing of OxyContin and how America got addicted, I would recommend that. Take as little as possible too, Cheryl. So we don't make fun of addicts. And for all of various people's faults, we just don't. Now, Roadhog is also fighting with AZ T-Spiracy. I'm not a follower of T-Spiracy. I think that she covers some things that I'm just not that interested in. She's covered a lot of Katie Joy, which I am interested in, but I only have so many hours in the day, so I'm careful about who I watch. Normal Bird made a response. No, Christoph, I saw that. I have not watched her, but I'm going to start because I love birds. And I little happy little parakeets. I've had a number of those through the years. Cheryl, that's awesome to be cancer-free all that time. It really is. A mug brownie. Whoever invents those deserves a medal. John, you were right about that. And talk about addictive. So Roadhog is fighting with AZ, and he's tossing all this stuff about addictions, single motherhood, losing custody of your children, just really, really atrocious things that should not be just thrown at other creators. Everybody has their skeletons in their closet that they don't really want to see thrown and writ large. You know, a lot of the stuff that people beat up on without a box of Kleenex for, and I'm gotta share this little laugh with you guys. You know, I'm always like pounding on her because of her wiping her nose with anything but Kleenex. Well, guess what? There's a Kleenex shortage here, and I'm resorting to a toilet roll. Oh, for now, because I don't have Kleenex, and it's driving me crazy. Yes, yeah, Jamie, I've started watching her. She's pretty funny. I've enjoyed that. So it's a poisonous mind that comes up and a small mind that goes after people for those things. And even for all the joking we've done about KJ's chin, her propensity not to even have a roll of toilet paper, for all those things that we've laughed at her about, I don't think anybody wants to see her go down or be hurt over those things. It's the horrible the reason we all dislike her so severely. But we don't go after her that way most of the time, most of us. Glad you were speaking up about Roadhog. He's out of control and keeps talking about leaving the community, but he's newest in the community. It's odd. I like Ren and T-Spiracy. Kiki Ray, I like them too. And I don't get his behavior. You don't, even though I'm going to say this is the most, excuse me, I got a toilet paper situation. Here's something I don't understand about not just Roadhog, but there are other creators I could mention. Red's Rampage, anybody? When you first come into a community and you decide to do YouTube and you decide to air your views, we see this again and again and again and again and again. People who've never been in the community before, never spoken up, showing up, getting a channel, starting with flaming KJ, and then flame broiling everybody else and burning out and running away and crying. Oh, haters, hating haters who hate. There was a video that came out the other day, not Nat, but I'm not going to say who it was, with somebody who was part of the community who had behaved in some pretty squishy ways and had gotten some pushback and ended up pretty much leaving the community for a while. Then they came back to make this, that was right after all video. I understand all these people that are showing up, making videos, have never been part of the community, don't understand the history of the community, and they slam people left and right. They start going after everybody after they get a little pushback. All the bitching and moaning he does about not being part of the community. He sure likes. Yeah, that's the thing. If you want to get on with the community, you need to try and get on with the community. We've had enough double agents like Nat and others that it's made everybody suspicious on edge about everybody. Everybody in the community is like looking at each other. Are you serious? Are you not serious? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I'm still having issues here. So many say they're not part of the community. They are. I agree. And sometimes it becomes extremely obsessive. But people are making money, so it won't stop, in my humble opinion. Dennis Reddy, that's probably what it is. Once they get that first YouTube check, they're like, oh my God, money for nothing, and your drinks are free, your chicks are free, your clicks are free. I think that's a large part of it. And sometimes it's off-putting because one of the things that I go after without a box of Kleenex about is the fact that she's attempting to make money off the Duggars' quiverful theology, things that she doesn't have a clue about. Look at her mishandling of ATI IBLP. a community she knew nothing about until recently, and then suddenly decided to call herself an expert. Well, girl, I have been working at exposing those sort of things for over 13 years now, 10 of them at Pathos. So I'm saying this again and again and again and again and again and again. It was a similar issue with the anti-niacin groups a few years ago. Yeah. I believe so. I wasn't around then. Yes, it is more and more toxic now. That's what's so crazy about it. They do change with money. I think that the most craziest one I've seen change with money, and I hate to utter her name because it's like you're asking for angry comments when you utter her name and you're not complimenting her, is Charlotte. Charlotte, when Charlotte first came around, she seemed like she was somebody's grandmotherly type. And then she got a little taste of the money and she changed, including begging for super chats and sad fishing. Now, I want you guys to notice, I never say do the YouTubey things. I'll say hit subscribe, hit like, hit dislike if you don't like me. I try not to say those things because for me, those things are not why I am online doing this stuff. Not at all. I'm doing this stuff because I want to expose a harmful theology that just is what it is, and it needs to be held to the light. That's one of the things. I'm not crazy about how Without a Box of Kleenex goes after the Duggars, but I can understand it, except that they are the low-hanging fruit of Quiverful. It's like I've said before, when I wrote about the Duggars, for every one Duggar rumor I would share, and I would have to verify these things before I would share them because I didn't really want to go to defamation court, especially not with somebody as litigious as Jim Bob Duggar. So there's so many rumors out there, and I can understand her desire to expose them and some of the stuff they do, but I don't understand acting like that. So anyway, back to Charlotte, since I started talking about her and I veered off about KJ. Charlotte started sad fishing right away. It was like, poor me. And then recently, I just stopped following her at all when she went there. And then recently I went back and looked at her channel. I saw the hair was done, the makeup was on. She looked years younger. She looked nothing like she did before. She changed up everything so much. New cameras, new lighting, new background, everything. And same old sad fishing. Same old BS. So it's just like, some people change. Yeah, it does. Christoph, Ann, it gets boring talking about her every day. I try not to talk about her. But she triggered me horribly again when she used my leaving my call story. When she used my theological history as her own, I was off and running again. So here's what's going to happen over and over again. Yeah, he does. Real men don't do things to prove what they are. Karina, you were exactly right. Real men do not try to prove how real manly they are. That's one of my complaints with the Quiverful movement, is a lot of men are always saying, oh, blah, 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 blah. That makes you a real man. You say these things, you do these things. I'm a manly man. Well, let me tell you something. I have never run around and said, look what a womanly woman I am. Look at my big boobs. Look at my face. Look at my hair. People that do that are people who are insecure about who they are and what they are. So they have to keep virtue signaling to grind that in so that everybody listens to them. And it's a common CULT tactic to start doing that crap. And I saw this a lot in Quiverful. Guys like Tim Bailey, Doug Wilson, so many of them would screech this out. The other day, somebody shared a list that some manly man that was bragging what a manly man he was had written about properly modest and submissive females. I started reading that list and just started laughing because it was obviously put together by some kind of proud boy type, some type of incel, because the list was stuff like, I think the one that shocked me the hardest is shaves her forearms. He really expects women to shave their forearms. I'm looking at my forearm right now. You got little teeny tiny bits of hair, little very light blonde fuzz. But if you're so insecure about your masculinity that hair on a woman's arm or underarm is going to throw you into some kind of a tizzy or turn you off, you got some work to do on yourself, not women. Not women in. Oh, well, my stories are my stories. I have a bunch of crazy ones. Yeah, there's Ray. I wonder about that too. A 15-minute true crime versus a daily hour of KJ. That's exactly right, Christoph. And someday soon, I am going to have to do my own true crime of the true crime I wrote about tremendously for NLQ, the Caroline Cole murder, because I've seen it covered by True Crime on YouTube very poorly. It's to the point where even subs are afraid or cautious to come on our favorite channels. Some creators call names from others' live streams. Cheryl, I don't either. Or my underarms. I just don't have much hair anymore. And I'm not about to shave those places just to make some guy happy. Life for me does not work that way anymore. Maybe it's because I'm old and my hair grows so slowly, I don't have to do that. But it really is whatever you decide. It's what the woman decides, not the man. The minute the content changes into super chats, wish list, and wants, it's boring. Lisa, that's exactly right. Christopher, that's why I decided to talk about this. So many people are angry. I'm seeing such crap being flung on Twitter. I'm seeing everybody fighting over this. It's like, this isn't even worth fighting over. I haven't listened to everything that Roadhog has had to say about T-spiracy. I'm just not interested. I'm not interested in the fact that he claims she's this, that, and the other thing. I take her at face value when I watch her videos. I don't need to know that she had a custody case in the past or any of that. And that's really where we are with this. When you get in the mud and you start flinging personal insults, for me, I'm just done. I'm done with the creator when they start doing that because it doesn't benefit anybody. The only thing it does is it makes them look so petty and childish that it's unbelievable. What people say in anger is what they truly feel. Think about that. Angel plate, you're right about that. But here's the thing. I have never, ever found it's good to speak in anger. And sometimes I will actually sit on something for a while and think about it before I'll say anything. Everybody's trying to get me to say how I feel about the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, other than the fact that I've said it's a tragedy all the way around. I am still thinking about that and looking at the evidence and thinking about what I feel and think about this. I'm just not going to blurt it out. And I think that's one thing that yeah, I think they do sometimes say what they're going to hurt the other person. But I think you need to really think about these things. You got to look at why you're so angry about this. Yeah, the Rittenhouse thing is a no-win, no matter what side you're on. It really is. That's another reason not to take a stance on it. It's just terrible. Tone does matter. And that's another reason why I've never really been able to watch Roadhog. I can't stand people that yell and scream and carry on. I was abused in childhood pretty horribly. My parents did not know that about me. And to this day, I still react when people yell at me. And I'm not around it. I mean, there's been times I've listened to Real Entertainment News that the minute he starts yelling, I'm out of there. I just can't handle it. I turned back into that 5 or 6-year-old kid that was abused, and it doesn't go into a good place for me. So I know better. I just don't do it. So here's what I'm proposing. When we run up against these creators that are making these wild claims about each other and they're fighting each other, I'm of the opinion we should just maybe say, oh dear, bless your heart, and just move on away. Just don't even engage in it. There are so many creators who will go into other creators' streams and watch the comments and then go after the person who's saying things that they don't like or don't agree with. Just because something's unpopular doesn't mean it's wrong. When a group has had a word used against them, uses, I don't think it's the same as everyone outside the group. Yeah. It's like, yeah, we need to ignore these things. It's like yesterday, I came out and said that I was disturbed by the baby name that Anna and Josh Duggar had picked. That I thought it wasn't appropriate and why, and I thought of various things that may have happened. I think the most likely explanation is it was chosen to show the world that Anna ultimately forgives Josh to the level that she's going to name a baby that. That's just my theology, my philosophy and my theology, knowing what goes on in quiverful theology, knowing how they tried to virtue signal in every way possible. I think that baby's name is virtue signaling, but I'm watching most people in the without a box of Kleenex community saying that it's disgusting, it's wrong that she said that. And I agree with her here. I agree. I'm saying the same things. And I don't think it's so bad to think that. I think if you know anything about quiverful, you would look at this and go, oh yeah, this is some kind of signal of some sort, some type of virtue signaling. And at some point it may dawn on Anna what she's done, and it won't be a pretty emotional sight. And I don't feel any connotations saying that. I just feel bad for her. Political issues, too toxic. Lisa, you're right. YouTube is for light entertainment, share knowledge, community, personas, and try not trying to solve world problems. Even though I will say in the very beginning that I started really doing YouTube at the very beginning of the pandemic, I was trying to use the platform to educate people because there were so many in the quiverful world that were saying, oh, blah, 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 this is terrible, it's God's judgment, it's blah, blah, blah. Don't do these things. And I just had to say, no, the science backs some of the things that the science backs some of it. And I'm always going to go with the science. If there's science proving something, I'm going to go with the science, even if the science changes, which it does sometimes, because science is a practice. Not everything about science is hard and fast, because they discover new things all the time. Really seems to be a singular. Oh, yeah. There's no singular anything on any of this. Yep. That's what I am, Crystal fan. The other day I was watching Emily D. Baker. I had to click talk about the Rittenhouse trial. I came back later, hit replay crew, and just fast forwarded to the parts that I was actually there for. The reading of the Josh Duggar, forgot the name of the filings, but the filings. I wanted to Emily's take on them because I'd read the filings and couldn't make heads or tails of everything. Oh, you never did, Villanova? I find beliefs fascinating, and I love that you're open to the story. It was a terrible story. And it's a body count theology. Yeah, John, I see that it's going on, so I should go ahead and go. Like I said, don't watch creators that don't bring you happiness here. I think I'm gonna have to start shouting out Apollo creators I do watch, because I watch some real humorous and fascinating ones, and then some great history ones. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna go. I think we don't engage. We do not engage in this. Oh, this cannibalism almost going on in the community. Just don't engage. The yelling triggers me too. Okay, you guys, you have a great day. I'm going to go lay down. I just feel like crap again. It is what it is. See you later.